Which movie scene bothered you so much? Stupid writing, annoying plot twist, unnecessary romance, etc. that you still think about it sometimes. Fast and Furious 6 and the never-ending runway. I get this franchise you're supposed to suspend belief, but it still bugs me. Johnny Depp's Mad Hatter dance in Alice Through the Looking Glass. Saw it on a plane and still almost walked out. Edit. Thanks to the few who pointed out that this dance was actually in Alice in Wonderland, not Through the Looking Glass. My bad. Special thanks to all the others who knew what I meant and just let it go. You're the best. Especially whoever went and silver plated this and may or may not be Johnny Depp himself. Probably not, though. I've always hated when Rose throws the heart of the ocean overboard in Titanic. The Jedi Order had like 1,000 opportunities to stop Anakin from turning. 3 words. Human bee relationship. The lake house. He's 2 damn years behind you and the only thing you tell him about, besides the one obvious spoiler, is a snowstorm. Let's make a deal, man. You promise to meet me at this date and time and I'll give you the Mega Millions numbers for the last 2 years. Slide some of that green into the mailbox every once in a while and I'll make sure to keep you in the money. You feel me? In that new Netflix movie, you get some ducking curtains. One thing that always bugs me in movies and shows is when they are drinking and leave before they finish their drink. It pisses me off. Who orders a $7 to $10 beer and then only has a few sips and leaves it? No normal person. They did it almost every episode of How I Met Your Mother. So annoying. My god, the ending of The Glass Castle still pisses me off to this day. Child abuse builds character. No matter how badly you got hurt, in the end you'll forgive them because family. Yeah. It's gonna be a no from me, dog. Amazing Spider-Man. There's an 8-foot tall lizard running around killing cops, and the captain calls a press conference to announce that they need to stop Spider-Man. My jaw was on the floor. I looked over at my friend and he had the same reaction. Bird Box. That scene where they're running through the forest and somehow on the giant ducking wall, the blindfolded people immediately find the door. The entire movie had scenes like that, but that one really irritated me. There was no visible end to the wall in either direction, so how did she just find the door? Percy Jackson series could have been the next Harry Potter series, maybe a poor man's version, but they just ducked it up. In The Devil Wears Prada, where her boyfriend makes a huge cribby scene out of Andy not being able to attend his birthday because she had to work. Oh. It always bothered me how in The Breakfast Club, throughout the entire movie, Claire never gets the last word on anything. Every time she makes a valid point in their discourse, it's either shot down quickly or somebody derails the argument. Still one of my favorite movies of all time. It just bothers me how the 4 other characters all teach one another something while Claire seems to exist merely to be humbled. The Hobbit. It makes me so mad. Besides the fact they didn't need to add Tauriel as a character at all, they decide to give this random elf a love arc with Killy the dwarf. The whole ducking reason it was a big deal that Gimli and Legolas became friends was because it like that doesn't happen. I have way more feels but decided to keep this brief for everyone else's sakes. Emperor Snoke didn't need to exist in any shape or form. He didn't do anything for plot progression. Pretty much every movie featuring a scene where the protagonist succeeds in stopping their love interest from marrying someone else just before the fact, and it ends with the 2 of them living happily ever after. It infuriates me to no end. But my deal with this trope is kinda long to explain. So let's just say that film studios are completely missing the graduate's gosh darn point. The ending scene of The Mist really ducked with me for a while. I always think of that scene when this type of question comes up. In the movie Osai 2012, this white family travel all the way from America to China to get on a big boat that only super rich people have a ticket to and that not many people know about. They battle against so much and get to China against the odds in time to get onto this boat. As the boat is leaving, they let on a whole bunch of Asian workers. However, when the doors open to let the people on the boat, it is 99% young attractive white people. How did those young people hear about the boat? How did they also get over to China in time to get on? Where are all the Chinese workers? Valerian. The scene that starts after they escape from the 4D market and stops at the end credits. Ender's Game. The movie takes all the heartbreak of the book and replaces it with a love interest. She's supposed to be his friend. Boys are allowed to have female friends. Passengers. And she finally falls in love with him. I just really got annoyed. Tacking a love story onto an interesting premise and the way they did it made me feel really uncomfortable. God, I wish Rey had taken Kylo's hand. It would have been a much more interesting story. The Last Jedi. You have this heartbreaking moment where Kylo Ren decides to not fire on his own mother, but instead his henchmen do, leaving Leia floating in space. Instead of this being a beautiful death scene for Leia and a huge moment for Kylo Ren, dealing with his own mother's death and having to answer to Snoke on why he wasn't able to fire on her, Leia just Supermans her way back to the ship and there were absolutely no consequences to this scene. Not a movie, but the last season of Game of Thrones had way too many of these, and they especially frustrate me because of how well written it used to be. Spoilers ahead obviously. Jaime charges a dragon splashing through ankle deep water, falls about 3 feet to the side, and is suddenly sinking in a river that's at least 100 feet deep. Then, one man jumps in and easily pulls him out of the water despite the fact that he's fully armored, about 100 yards from where he fell in. And at no point does anyone from the other side, who are handily winning the battle, think to go and figure out what happened to the famous general who just came within inches of killing their queen. Arya running through the streets like a Terminator and getting shanked 4 times in the belly, shrugging it off like nothing, swimming through it-filled water, and then killing her stabber in a one-on-one battle. Gendry doing a solo ultra marathon in freezing blizzard conditions all the way back to the wall. Sending a raven to Daenerys, who immediately flies to the rescue and makes it in 1 day. Those are just the most egregious, but the writing has really devolved into standard Hollywood cliches and boring old tropes. It's real frustrating to watch. Almost every other scene in Prometheus suffers from poor writing due to not fully respecting what the Alien franchise had become and a gross misunderstanding of basic scientific concepts. Oh hi Mark. Edit. Good thing this got upvotes, otherwise I would have shot myself in the head. Jupiter Ascending. Early on the protagonist has some anti-grav boots that let him skate just above the ground. Late in the movie, he can magically fly with them to save the Mila Kunis because it's convenient. I remember saying oh fuck you under my breath in the theater. Each time someone say it's my first day or it's my birthday and then gets killed stupidly. Beauty and the Beast would make more moral sense if Belle was ugly. He's supposed to learn about beauty on the inside, but still gets the hot girl. You'll probably notice a theme. In Avatar, when the big bad has a knife for his mech. In Matrix, when the machines just flew around looking cool rather than simply stabbing all the mech pilots. In Terminator Salvation, when the Terminator gets its hands on John and John isn't instantly killed. Anytime something capable of killing a person simply by crushing them gets their hand on a person and chooses to throw them. Just stupid decisions to make it look cool. In Casino Royale, when Bond wins the tournament he tips the dealer with one of the chips. In a tournament, the money in the chips does not represent any real money. It's a separate thing entirely. Bond essentially gave the dealer a useless piece of plastic. Tipping of dealers after a tournament does not happen until after you have been paid out, in which case you can then give money as tip that is split among all the dealers who worked the tournament that evening. The abuse scene in the 2009 version of Last House on the Left went on way too long and was too realistic for my comfort. I like horror, but damn. In The Last Jedi, where Rose saves Finn from making the most badass and noble sacrifice ever, which would have perfectly wrapped up his character arc as a duck you to the Empire and to save his rebel friends by kamikaze-ing into that laser battering ram thing. But no, Rose had to go and say hey look at me, I'm in this movie too, I mean JFC, even Finn was looking at her like itch what are you doing, Endrant. God, that scene tilted me. Not necessarily a specific scene, but the feeling that, in Coco, if Imelda wasn't so petty and waited a little while longer, Ernesto de la Cruz wouldn't have gotten away with song theft for as long as he did, and if not for the fact that she banned music from her family, you would think the two were in cahoots to get rid of Hector's legacy. Edit. I tried giving the movie a chance since I'm part Mexican and my little sister seems to enjoy the movie, but I don't really like it so much. I think my statement and some of the comments gave me a better idea of why I don't like it. Batman Dark Knight Rises when Batman goes to fight Bane in front of City Hall. Bane, so you came to die with your friends? Batman, no, I came to stop you. Who wrote that comeback thinking it was good? Edit. Holy hell, I liked this movie, but wow, are there some other really bad parts I never noticed. For me, it's a scene in Hancock That Will Smith movie, where the boyfriend character is listing reasons why he loves the Charlize Theron character, and one of those reasons is that she frequently changes her hairstyles. Who wrote that? Still makes me angry sometimes. From Batman v Superman. Save Martha. Why did you say that name? It's so poorly written that their moms have the same name, and for some reason Supes calls his own mom by her first name. It's just so weird. I think about Frozen sometimes in this context. Like, the movie would have been so much better if they didn't make Hans the bad guy. They could have kept Kristoff as the love interest, but when Anna goes to Hans for the kiss, have them go through with it and it doesn't work, because they just met, and it proves that they really were just kids rushing into something. Whereas she had been traveling with Kristoff for what their movie could have extended for at least a week or two, to the point where they got to know each other, their weaknesses, their strengths, their quirks, their traumas, etc. Anna realizes that she starts to have feelings for him. Kristoff is already in love with her at this point, but is afraid to admit it. But her spontaneous engagement with Hans that neither thought through keeps her from accepting her feelings for Kristoff, who she actually got to know. Maybe have Hans, in the meantime, have character development with Elsa getting to know her. Doesn't have to be romantic, but that way you keep him relevant without making him a villain for the sole reason of we need a bad guy, even though they already had that freaky Weaseltown Duke guy. Would have kept the plot intact. Would have saved us from suffering through a completely non-foreshadowed I'm actually a villain for no reason moment, and it would have probably driven the point in better. Hans was a good guy for like 90% of the movie, and then all of a sudden with no warning he's suddenly an absolutely villain. Yeah, it was a surprise, but for all the wrong reasons. Like I got whiplash from that. Edit. Wow, thank you so much for the silver medal. As a total noob on Reddit, this means so much. Thank you. Loved Ant-Man and Ant-Man and the Wasp. But what the hell are they breathing when going subatomic? Atoms are thousands of times larger than them at that point, including oxygen. So what is keeping Pym and his wife alive when they are shown without masks? Assuming the suits are self-contained to otherwise explain it away. Black Panther, where the previous king had to murder his brother to stop him from shooting the dude instead of just simply moving into the line of fire, as his suit is vibranium and therefore 100% bulletproof. In the latest Pirates movie where they retcon how Jack got his signature compass. In Sherlock Holmes, A Game of Shadows, Moriarty, aka super genius equal to Sherlock, wants to kill a guy without anybody knowing that the guy he's killed was the target. So what he does is he has the guy shot whilst in a meeting room full of potential political assassination targets, and then has a bomb explode in the room after to hide the fact that it was all just to kill the guy he had shot. But if the bomb is going to kill everyone in the room anyway, why the duck would you go to the effort of hiring a sniper? I mean, the bullet was going to be found, and unless the bomb was right next to the guy's head, the cops are going to find what would appear to be a bullet hole in the guy's head. So they're gonna figure out that this guy was being targeted anyway, and this would all be fine if like Moriarty was just trying to lure Sherlock into a trap, like he does with other murders and crimes. But no, this was just straight up a guy wanted murdered and didn't want anyone to know that he was the target. Duck off. Solo, a Star Wars story. Han's character arc is basically the exact same one he has in Anne. I don't oppose the idea of a Han Solo origin story, but there's like not a single creative risk in the whole thing. It's all empty nostalgia and pandering. They wanted to do something really cool. They'd have given Han a negative change character arc where he actually becomes a worse person through the story. Imagine it, a movie where he becomes jaded and selfish could set up his arc in Anne really well. But no, we're doing the easy thing. Transformers 2. They are at Petra, Jordan, and then walk to the pyramids of Giza. They are 400 kilometers apart. Every romance scene between Padme and Anakin is just cringy bad. He just sucks so much on camera. Not even Natalie Portman's talent and training could save him. 8 years later in Spider-Man: Homecoming, I ducking love that movie, but good lord what a dumb mistake. Honestly, the fight with the Witch King and Sauron in the desolation of Smaug with Gandalf, Galadriel and Saruman, I just felt like they kept trying to cram in the fact that The Hobbit being a prequel to LOTR down our throat why too much. We know everything involving the diabetic in Con Air is wrong and the writers want that man to be dead apparently. The end of Interstellar still bugs the it out of me. I could read a million reviews to try and understand why they went in that direction and still not understand. G.I. Joe: A fortress on ice explodes. The fortress and the ice sink towards the bottom of the sea. In I Am Number 4, the romance scenes between Thor and Sarah were too sappy for me to watch comfortably. Ugh. Made of iron, not alloyed. Pacific Rim: Unalloyed iron is a terrible choice of material for basically all applications. When I was 3, my mom let me watch Poltergeist alone. Needless to say, the clown scene still haunts me to this day sometimes. Creepy little thing. The Shining: clairvoyant handyman on his annual holiday down south suddenly senses there is trouble back at the Snowden Resort Hotel where we know Jack Nicholson is running amok. Handyman travels hundreds of miles, including by frigging Snauplo, just to return to the hotel to avert the disaster he feels is coming. Opens the front door and immediately gets axed by Jack. Good instincts. Terrible follow through. Not a movie, but I'll never stop being angry about the ending of Dexter. The Divergent series. I literally burned them after I finished them because the romance was so irrelevant and forced. Rose saving Finn. Jesus ducking Christ. Your day-old crush is not worth dozens of lives. And for all the talk about TLJ subverting expectations, them killing Finn would have actually subverted my expectations and really impressed me, and that death would have been awesome. They set themselves up for an absolutely iconic moment. I'm talking I am your father level here, and then, cue Dumbus. Be kind rewind. Jack Black's character wasn't enjoyable at all, and was more frustrating than anything else. The larger focus on Danny Glover's love of a jazz musician over everything that was shown in the trailers, which happened to be the only good parts of the movie. Ghostbusters. I love the movie, but Dan Aykroyd's ghost blowjob was super unnecessary, even if it was part of a deleted scene. Dodgeball. I'm not a lesbian. I'm bisexual. Not only did she never mention her girlfriend up to that point, but also went along with all the flirting with Peter the entire time. Then goes from kissing her girlfriend to stating she's been just kissing Peter. Her girlfriend is just okay with that? The Village. Spoilers for those who haven't seen it, more than the entire premise. Bad things happened to us so we ran away and made a town and pretended that it was the 1800s. Then when it goes down they have to send the blind girl through the woods where she's never been because they urgently need medicine. Less than signs. Aliens are harmed by water but walk around in our atmosphere without any protective suits. Then they just duck and leave for no reason. In the movie Limitless, Bradley Cooper gets addicted to the Limitless drug. An hour of a movie goes by and Bradley Cooper is fighting these gangster dudes who want money from him for the Limitless drug or something. They are all on the Limitless drug but Bradley Cooper has run out. He kills a couple of them but knows they will beat him if he doesn't get the drug in his system. So what does he do? He drinks the blood of one of the dead gangsters. Ducking bonkers. The implication that Han Solo, with over 40 years of smuggling together, had never used Chewie's bowcaster. Star-Lord punching Thanos ducking knowing the consequences. Eurotrip. Could have just sent another email using a different account. There was this scene in the 2004 Punisher, where Rebecca Romijn's character goes on an impassioned plea to the Punisher about not doing what he's about to do to the villains. It's supposed to be a very emotional scene between two characters who know they have feelings for each other. She is crying as he leaves and this exchange happens. Punisher, I have work to do. Read your newspaper every day and you'll understand. Rebecca, which section? Punisher, obituaries. Even as a kid this exchange infuriated me. The fact that after an emotional scene her answer to that comment is which section? Who would say that? Ever? Not a movie, but the TV show Riverdale. Hate the unnecessary drama, stupid characters and weird dialogues. Also, it's nothing like the Archie comics. No thanks.